touched on something which I also referenced about Babachi Lawa. Babachi Lawa is a minority Christian, made a first class in a Muslim, northern-dominated part of Nigeria. Nobody discriminated against him. Like you said, a Muslim northern premier, northern governors did not say, oh, no, please, we don't want that kind of, don't promote that. How did we get to the point where, I mean, in Nigeria now, we came up with, the North is educationally disadvantaged. So we came up with federal character, we came up with quota system. So if unity schools are doing admission, we lower the bar. Universities will lower the bar. As if the northern children are different from southern children, southeast children or south children or southwest children. Doctor, I still go back to it. How bad did northern leaders fail?
Very badly. Very badly. I teach history and politics, and I always tell people this story. When in 1959, the elections, it sounds very far away, but it's as relevant today as it was then. The party, the NPC, which was the Northern Party,
exactly,
they won the election. And the leader of that party was supposed to have gone to Lagos to become the prime minister.
Absolutely.
And people said to the president, when are you going to become prime minister? He said, I don't want to be prime minister. They said, what? You are the leader of the NPC. You're supposed to go and head this country. And he said, no. I want to stay here with my people in the north because the challenge here is greater than fixing Nigeria. Other people can do that. I have somebody else who is intellectually good or better, and that's how Tafawa Balewa went there. Now that is sacrifice, that is vision, and that is commitment. Everything that happened then, there were a few mistakes they made.
Of course.
They were human, but from that era, during that era, we saw real commitment. They told him in 1961, he wanted to build a university. They told him, you can't do that. He said, why? They said, you don't have the money, you don't have the resources, and you don't have the students who would even go.
Exactly.
If you do that, if you build a university in the north, 90% of the students for the first 10 years, years of that university, you'll be training people from the southern part of the country, because only people from the southern part of the country get qualified. The people who qualify from your region are very few. And he asked a few people to set up a committee to advise him. And they came back to him and said, Mr. Premier, you asked us to advise you on whether the law allows you to establish a regional university. He said, yes. They said, yes, the law allows you. But you have massive constraints. He said, like what? He said, you don't have the money to build a university. If you want a university, you can build one, but it has to be multi-campus. You have the Nigerian College of Arts and Science in Zaria, you have the College of Administration in Congo, in Zaria, you have the IAR Institute of Agricultural Research in Zaria. You have to build other campuses elsewhere. That's the only way you can have a university. He said, we can do that? They said, yes. So they said the biggest problem is you don't have enough students from the north graduating with the qualification to get into university. He said, why? He said, well, two things. One is that the only examination that allows people to get into university is written in the south by southerners, and there's very few of your people who make it. And he said, well, okay, so what do we do? They said, well, if you build a university on your own, you can train people, but they will come from this southern part of the country. But eventually you'll produce enough people.
Exactly.
And he went away and thought about it. And he said, let's build it. 10 years, you said. They said, yes. 10 years. Northerners will catch up. 6 years into the 10 years, he got killed. So other Northerners stepped in. Technocrats, powerful Northerners in government. They quickly got together and thought, let's create an alternative to that system that allows only a tiny number of people from the north to get in. This way, larger number of Northerners will qualify with the same qualification as HSC, higher school certificate then. And that's how they created the School of Basic Studies.
SBS.
Yes, and SBS, same standard, same qualification, same requirement. SBS started recruiting in hundreds. And within 3 years, the population of the northern students and vis-a-vis southern students was reversed.
Wow.
It was almost 70 to 30. Now, this tells you the values of commitment and vision and decision making that prioritizes the child of the poor.
Exactly.
And I can tell you, I think I was the third set of the School of Basic Studies. In my year, 650 of us started.
Wow.
620 finished degree courses.
Oh, really?
Within 4.5 years.
Wow.
And I don't think there were more. There were children of ministers. There were children of everybody. Nobody cared who your father was. And the thing about it was that we felt a strong sense of obligation. We knew how we got there. We knew it had nothing to do with whether our fathers can afford it or not. So this is the kind of vision we need to do, especially now that the country is on its knees. And you need this in all parts of the country because every part of Nigeria is suffering from the decline in the quality of vision and commitment of its leaders. And this is the honest truth. That we prioritize this, like I said, I'm sorry to keep bringing up the PRP. In the PRP, we've done a lot of our own thinking. And one of the things we know Nigerians has to do, whether they give us the trust and power or not, somebody has to do it. We need to re-examine how can we run a successful country with the kind of low caliber, selfish, corrupt leadership that is running this country. You can never get good out of bad. You can never get good out of bad. So we need to overhaul our thinking and begin to think of the next generation. We have too many children who are not being looked after, who have no future, and they represent a threat, not just to them, but to the survival of this country. Somebody somewhere has to put an end to this rot.
Absolutely. Doctor, you've said quite a lot. The last question on the bachelor's whatever is, I asked him, what is the single biggest threat to Nigeria's survival, not even just democracy now? And unequivocally, he said it was the judiciary. That because when the executive, tries to overreach itself, I mean, Greg Montesquieu said, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts, absolutely, and that's why you have checks and balances, separation of powers. Let's say for whatever reasons, the National Assembly are in cahoots, hand in gloves with the executive. They're the only institution that can pull both of them back and save the republic is the judiciary. Sir, but he says the judiciary?
It is. I agree with him entirely.
Wow.
I agree with him. Wow. Sheikh Usman Danfodio said, there's an organ in the body. Any other organ can fail. And the human body can continue. But there's an organ in the body, if it fails, there is no life. It's the heart. In society, that is the judiciary.
Wow.
Let me tell you, as we speak, we have one of the best presidential candidates, Donald Duke.
Your party?
Our party. After the primary, one of the people he contested, who lost fairly and squarely, did not agree that he lost. So he went to court. And we've been in court. He sued Donald Duke, he sued the party. And we've been attending this, we've been addressing this issue. We know Donald Duke won fair and square, but this is right, the other party. And last week, the judge adjourned the case he's hearing, the case involving the challenge against Donald Duke by the other party, to the 2nd of November.
Oh, adjournment to 2nd of November?
Yes, 2nd of November.
Wow.
By the 2nd of November, campaigns will start on the 17th of August this month.
Yes.
In maybe a few days' time.
Exactly.
And this judge adjourned his
hearing.
No, not the hearing, the judgment.
Okay, the judgment.
To the 2nd of November.
Wow.
Now, which candidate, please, in the name of God, which candidate will campaign with a cloud of uncertainty and a litigation over his neck? Now, we don't want to say this was a deliberate ploy to cripple our campaign, but you can't do this. This is a pre-election case. You move a judgment for almost 2-3 months, for goodness sake. And even if he enters a judgment, let's say he enters a judgment in favor of Donald Duke and our party, the other candidate will appeal. So our candidate is going to campaign all the way to the election with the threat of this litigation on his head. Literally, you have crippled us. If our worst enemy has designed a system that will make sure that our campaign and our party don't campaign, this is it. I don't want to impute motives. I'm not saying the judge is in the government's pocket or he's done, but this is the worst possible thing. This is a pre-election case. The judge would know that November 2nd, we would be midway into an election, and then and we don't have any recourse. Now, the judiciary, if you don't fix the judiciary, this country is finished. And the judiciary, unfortunately, is only the judiciary that can fix itself. My hope is that there are enough of them inside the judiciary that will recognize the fact that they swore to protect the integrity of the judiciary, and they recognize the fact that the judiciary is the most vital institution that will hold this country together or let it go asunder.